everybody. How are you guys? How you doing? Great, great. So I'll give you guys also some time to, for those who haven't set up yet with the link, the most important thing here is the link that's here. So also I'm gonna be recording it, so hi YouTube for later. I can edit it. But basically, for those who have it, remember you can go to the link tree, and on there you'll see, I'll show you guys over here what it looks like. You'll have the first link for those who have laptops. You'll be able to go directly to it. If you're doing it on your phone, we have the App Store and Google Play, a free program. And then the other important link is this one, the Google Drive, like I mentioned. So in here, we'll have a couple templates that we'll use for the class. And then there's a link here, a public folder that you guys can upload your finished pieces for the world to see. And then also on here, just to let y'all know, there's a couple more links here that are just for yourselves to take home, a little homework. We got the Wana Create app, and we got my portfolio if you want to see a little bit more, the Wana Create Instagram if you want to keep in touch, and then my Instagram as well if you want to stay in touch. Go for it. What's up? So the link tree is this link. It's linktr.ee /pixelworkshop. So before starting though, I just want to give Dara a quick platform if she'd like to just say a couple words. Sure.
Hello everyone. Welcome to this super nice and intimate pixel workshop. I know a lot of you are not digital artists, right? Which is awesome, so congrats for trying something new. Are any of you digital artists or pixel artists? Kind of. Cool, you're the expert. Yeah, thanks to Isai, and thanks for the other Wana team as well. Super grateful to be here and super grateful to be able to uplift creators like you guys. Yeah. And then there's QR codes, little cards with questions on them on the back. They're all different questions. So think of it like you're picking whatever question you need to answer for yourself on the back of the card. And then there's stickers, there's coffee, empanadas. And yeah, I think we're ready to start. Cool.
All right, everybody. So with that, let's get it started. Let's hear a round of applause. Who's ready? Nice, nice. Awesome. So I guess I'll give a little bit to those who might be watching online and they want to connect as well. Like I mentioned one more time, for those who are watching the link tree, go to it and you'll be able to get all the information, the program and the templates. So before that, let's just play a quick little game here. So pixel art is, for those who don't know, is art made out of pixels. It's really cool that you can make things recognizable with so few pixels, right? So who here has ever done kind of the art style called like pointillism, which is like when you draw like stippling, like little like dots, right? Or who's ever done like work with like the little perler beads by any chance? Yeah, so basically you get these little beads that are like they're circular, but you heat them up afterwards into the shape that you want, and you can make like a character out of them. So it's really cool, is like with just a little bit of information you can tell a lot, and I think that's really useful, especially for people who are game developers who maybe are not you don't have to be an expert in art to be able to convey an idea through pixel art. But then also it's just very therapeutic, right? So if anybody's ever done cross-stitching, it's a form of pixel art in a way, because you're working with a grid and you're kind of creating an image. Same thing with like mosaics. And so I'll give you guys these examples, right? So what do these first set of characters up here have in common? What's their like theme, I guess? Yeah, perfect. It's a good one to see. How about these guys? This one's kind of hard, but I think I know it. Yeah, this one up here. Let's see. What do you guys see? What do you guys recognize in these characters? These are the X-Men, I think. Yeah, there you go. All right, and then we have also on the top right, Mickey and Minnie. Okay, see, you guys are catching on. Okay, the Ninja Turtles. Yeah, South Park. Perfect. Simpsons. See, you guys are thinking in pixels now. Right? Isn't that crazy that you guys know who these characters are just from like a 3x4 of pixels? Garfield, that's correct. I was about to say Calvin and Hobbes, but I realized that that's these guys down there. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, you guys are catching on. Yeah, Futurama. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, we got Calvin Hobbes. Yeah. This one's a little bit more niche. This is for my 90s kids. Ren and Stimpy. Yeah. Let's see. Who is this? Oh, I see who this is now. Yep, yep. You can tell Bugs Bunny. He's right here. There's Porky Pig. There's the chicken. I forget his name. Yeah. Flintstones. Yeah, that's correct. This one's for my anime fans. Dragon Ball. Exactly. Yeah, those we had a couple of those over here as well. And we'll do a few more. Hello Kitty. It's good. We got Hello Kitty. We've got Optimus Prime. Yep, you pick it up. Pink Panther. Yeah. We got Charlie Brown. I don't know this one. It's like a dog detective, I guess. Oh, I think it's a video game that's based on that. Sam and Max, I think, if anybody's played. That one's very niche. This one is Sesame Street, so you're 100% right. This is DuckTales. The Donald Duck and his like three siblings, yeah. Shrek, Puss in Boots, yep, exactly. What is this one? Probably in the same DreamWorks category, right? Isn't it? Or I don't know. That's. I mean, I could do this all day. This is so fun. There's so many of these. Yeah, I think you guys recognize Mario. A couple more video game characters over there. This is Ronald McDonald over here. Is the Minecraft, Sonic. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Harry Potter. I didn't notice those. Yeah, those are glasses. That's so good. This one I don't get. What is? Oh, this is Popeye. I don't know. If y'all know what that one is, let me know. This is Monsters Inc. Yep. So see, you guys notice how like just with a couple pixels you can identify characters, and so it is useful. It's important to think that way. And I will tell you, like when I was starting to make digital art when I was about 13, that's the kind of work that I did, right? So I'll show you guys some of the stuff that I had made when I was just a wee lad. I was like 12, 13 years old. I think I have some of that stuff from high school as well. So for example, I have here some work that I had done in 2009. At this point I would have been 17. So this is the work that I was doing when I was about 17 years old. Kind of working with like smaller pixels, you know, not like high detail, but kind of making little scenes, trying to get all experimental with it. This was for like, I think like a Halloween event or something, like a competition, making little characters, animations. I had a whole character where I was like, I'm gonna make a video game about a gingerbread man. And so, you know, sometimes I would start something and not finish it because, you know, I'm a teenager. I don't have the commitment to finish it. You know, practicing some fundamentals and kind of line work, trying to kind of like capture things in like small spaces. But that's the thing, right? So like pixel art was really useful for me because it was a chance to dabble in digital art, learn about composition and color without having to like have like a super strong you know, like understanding of those other aspects of like perspective. And but you know, you do learn it over time. So I think I just wanted to give that aside before that kind of intro. And then afterwards, just to give an introduction about myself, I got into working in a lot of projects doing pixel art. So I got a chance to work on a movie, Max Cloud, where the characters get sucked into a video game, and it's all like pixel art, like Sega Genesis style. I had a chance to work with Doja Cat, and we basically remade her entire website where it was like a game. You would be able to kind of walk around and explore the world and like almost like a top-down game. And then we actually like, you know, she would be able to eat food and pose and like interact with different stands. You'd be able to go into the pool, you'd be able to play instruments, you'd be able to like play on stage, take a photo with fans. And then what's fun is like we were able to remodel the website as well for Christmas time. And we actually won a Webby award, if that counts for something. I don't know. Mama, we won a Webby. But it's you know, it was nice. So got a chance to work with a couple more artists as well. Lil Pump. I'm not personally a fan of his music, let's just say, but it was interesting, you know, because the idea was that the song Mosh Pit Madness, he was kind of wrecking havoc. So you would drive around in the game and just kind of rack up scores like by like running into things and breaking trash cans and things like that. Also doing like, you know, little pixel art scenery as well. So I've had a lot of experience over the years. Right now, this is part of the game that I've been working on lately, Bitmates. It's an MMO. It's technically like available to play now. So all this stuff is just like, especially this has been like isometric. We might get a chance to do a little bit of that at the end. This is really fun. If you guys remember like Habbo Hotel or any of these kind of games that are isometric view, I hope you guys get a chance to try some of that because it's super fun to do that like top-down perspective. But yeah, just a lot of experience doing different games and projects, as well as doing like character animations and kind of like the movements of them, doing stuff for bosses, for enemies, doing character animation through a website, not a website, a program called Sprite. Highly recommend that if you guys want to learn. The only reason I didn't do it for this course is because it's a paid program. It's like about $10 or $15, and I do recommend it if you guys are really interested in pixel art to download that program, Sprite. It's this one here that I was showing the graphics on, and highly recommend that. Besides that, yeah, just doing a lot more like animations like that, and I'm still doing it to this day. UI, like I said, pixel art is so useful for every aspect of game design. Just a way to be able to convey stuff on your own. So working with a few more artists, doing all kinds of animations for like fighting games. A couple of these are based on different artists where basically they would fight with each other, like the bandmates. I got to do an event where I was doing like live pixel portraits of people, of different like teachers. So it was for, yeah, I think for Canvas, which is like a college tool. And so every person that came by was able to get their pixel face done. So with that in mind, that's actually going to be our first thing to do together. So the first thing that we're going to build together. So if you guys, like I had mentioned before, on the link tree, there's a, I guess I'll pull it up again real quick, just flash it up. On the link tree, there's a link to, see if I had it here. I just want to be chronological about it. There's the Google Drive, right? So in there, we're gonna download the face template currently. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the program. Let me know if you guys all have the pixel art program open. We're gonna go to the program and we're gonna open up the .pixel. That's like the name of their files. So I'm gonna do open.pixel. In this case, we're gonna choose face template. So we're gonna see a purple face man. So what's really cool about this, and I guess this is just like a good chance for us also to learn a little bit about the actual tool here, because you know, like every tool can get a little bit complicated too, but I don't want you to get overwhelmed by it. Basically, what we're gonna do is on the right, you're gonna see a bunch of layers, and if you guys have to move things around to get more like focus on what you want to see, you can move it. So basically we're going to, you're going to be able to see these different layers on the right side. It says head, you know, you see the heads, so you'll be able to actually change up the head shape first. You'll be able to then change up the eyes. So I'll show you guys just the different kind of eyes that we have here as well. And so if you notice on the right side, there is a little, there's a little like black and white circles that are there. The white just means that it's visible, and you notice if I mouse over, you're gonna click it to make it visible or invisible. So let's say there's no head there. So I'm gonna go ahead and work with that. So first we're gonna make a head, a shape, right? So whichever one you think fits you the most. Or if you want to make not just yourself, but I mean, remember this tool, you can use it later too. If you want to make it of your family, of your friends, like later too as well. So first, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make one of my brother. I'll do that. So, because I already made myself. If you guys want to see an example of what it looks like finished, I'll show you. This is me in pixel art. So we're gonna show you guys right now how to make this. So first and foremost, you're gonna make the head shape. On the right, you're also gonna see the eyes. So just whatever eyes you think fit the best. Okay. Then we're gonna change the nose shape. So change it to various types of noses. There's big ones, there's little ones. Let's do that. We've got the mouth shape. So we can kind of set it to be, there's a couple mouths we can do. I think I'll do this one. This looks nice. And don't worry about the color. It's purple just because I wanted to kind of create a neutral color so you guys know whether you've changed it or not. When I say neutral, I mean like obviously like no person is purple unless if you are, call a doctor. But so we also have a couple hairstyles that I made, and this is a note too. So don't worry about this looking 100% like you. We're gonna flatten this down afterwards after we have like a base and just kind of personalize it to look more like ourselves. Like for example, there's a couple hairstyles here, but if none of the hairstyles match, I would recommend just picking something that's like similar enough and kind of working and being able to edit that after the fact. So for example, we have like a kind of like medium size cut, long cut, kind of like a close shave, a little bit more like spiked up, a little more like fluffy as well. So for example, my brother, I'd say he's closer to this one. And then we've got a couple glasses as well. I took the chance to make a few. Like I said, if none of these match your vibe, we can just make them from scratch. You don't have to choose any of these specifically. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And the last step we're gonna do there is gonna be, I'm just explaining this right now. You guys will have time right now. But the last step we're gonna do there is gonna be choosing a background. So we have 3 backgrounds here. We have this one, we have this one, which is one that I used before, and then this one, kind of like a, what would you call it? Like a, what do they call that? Like synth wave or like, cyberpunk or whatever. That's not the right word, term for it. So we've got a couple different vibes. So what we're gonna do there, when you have a background that you like, I would recommend grabbing it, is you can grab the layer and then drag it all the way to the bottom. So we're gonna grab it all the way to the first layer. The bottom layer is the one, the bottom of the list is the first layer. So now this is annoying just because this is a limitation of the program, and I'll let you know now, like once you guys are like, okay, like I know more or less like the shape that I'm gonna do, this is gonna be a little bit more manual than I would have liked to, but it's only gonna be for this one. We're gonna basically just manually delete the layers that we don't want. I wanted to like be able to like flatten what you can see and what you can't. For some reason, this program doesn't let you do that. So we're just gonna basically select a layer, and let me see if there's a, yeah, so if you notice, and you, like I said, you guys can kind of move this around a little bit. If you notice below the layers, there's a little trash can. So you can delete it like that. Let me see if you can delete it with just the delete button. You cannot, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just such a simple thing, sadly, about the program that's not working. But for example, if you notice, if the little circle is black, we're just gonna delete that one. If it's white, we'll leave it. And if you like accidentally did something that you don't want to, you can like backspace. For those on computer, it's Control-Z. For those who are doing it on mobile, may God help you. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm sure that it's there. I'm sure that there's a way to backspace, to go back. Even up here, if you don't want to find it there, I'm sure that there's a way to undo. Yeah, perfect. So you guys can undo if you accidentally delete a layer you don't want to. So no, so I'm gonna do the annoying thing here of doing that. Again, I looked for like 2-3 hours, a simpler way to do it. And like I said, with the program that I recommend, Sprite, that's not an issue. I just wanted to find a good program that is free. And honestly, this is just an issue with layering because we have so many layers. Normally you wouldn't have this issue because you only draw the layers that you make, you know, and we'll see that in the next section as well. So I've deleted all the layers that I don't want. And now I'll show you guys this and then I'll undo it in case you guys need to see it again. But this is really important, so I hope that everybody can pay attention for a second, which would be like once you guys have the layers that you do want, if you notice all the circles are white because it's only the visible layers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the layers. In this case, I'll do Shift. Oh wait, no, I don't have to do it like that. I don't have to do it that way. There's an option here that says Merge Layer Down. I'm just going to merge down, do it again, do it again, do it again. But I'm actually not going to do it all the way. I'm going to leave the background so that I can like edit that. But if you notice now, we have just this guy is selectable. So if you guys want to know a little bit now about the tools, I'll explain that as well. On the side, we have a couple tools available. One is the pencil tool. So that's just for drawing pixels individually. There's an option in the pencil tool that says Pixel Perfect. I recommend that. You don't quite need it, but I'll show you the difference. Like this is drawing. Oh, let me see if I can change the color. Sorry. Did I delete? Yeah. This is drawing without the Pixel Perfect. It's like a little bit more wide. But if I do Pixel Perfect, you notice how it always stays a single pixel all around. So it's just that little setting. It's like a little detail. You don't quite need it, but it's helpful if you check that little box on the top left that says Pixel Perfect. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with this tool though. So for example, up here also we see mirror X and mirror Y. So let's say you wanted to change some of the details. You can actually, I want to give this guy some horns or something, you know, give him some bunny ears or something. So you notice that you can actually mirror things like that. You can technically also mirror things up and down as well. It's not as useful in this case, but it's just something to know. It's like a little extra useful tool. Besides that, up here also with the pencil tool, you can also change the thickness. So you can get it a little thicker, a little thinner as well. Then we've got the eraser. You guys all know how that works. It's the same thing. But besides the eraser, another important tool to show you guys is I'll show you a couple of the important tools. This is the line tool. So this one will just let you, create a line. And what's great, like I said, is that this is something important too, that a pixel program is like more ideal because you're able to like specifically stick with like individual pixels. If you did something like this on like Photoshop or like, just like other programs aren't built for pixel art, you would get a lot of, they would try to smooth things out. It's called anti-aliasing. And so that looks good, when you want like smooth lines, but when you're making pixel art, you want it to look a little crispy like this, So just to give that example, another important tool is the fill tool. And this is actually gonna be really important for us in a second. I'll show you guys to kind of change the skin color. This is the eyedropper. So it's just simple. You can just select whatever color that you want to work with. There's also a couple shortcuts. If you mouse over, you'll notice that there's some shortcuts for our keyboard users that you're able to quickly switch between them. This is a really important one too. This is a select tool. So this one you'll select stuff, and as soon as it's selected, it's movable, so you can move it around. And like I said, you can undo if you need to do that. There's a couple more. I'll show you guys the gradient tool real quick. And the gradient tool is cool. Like I said, it's made for pixel art. So let me show you what it looks like here. So you're able to create a gradient that's done through pixels, right? So see all these tiny little dots that kind of show up and they're like in a perfect pattern. This is something in pixel art called dithering. So dithering is basically like a checkered kind of like transition. And you can get real simple with it or real complex with it. So I'll show you, for example, if you notice up here on this gradient tool, there's an option that says 8. So let's do 2. So it's 2 steps. So the 2 steps here is real simple. It's literally just on or off. It's full, it's half, like checkered, and then nothing. So then the 4 steps would be 4 different distinct steps to get there. Let me see if I don't want to mess this up. So the 4 steps would be, let's see if I got this here, would be like this. So see, you're able to get 4 distinct. You've got the single pixel, the every other, the half, and then the other. So just a note, when I was learning how to do this stuff on Microsoft Paint when I was 13 years old, I had to do these manually. It's rough. It's rough. But thank God that there are like tools that allow us to do a lot of these things more automatically. So 8 looks nice. It really does depend on what you need and what kind of vibe you want to go for. If you're doing something that's like more like old school, you'd probably want to just do like 4 or 2, like an Atari or something. But if you want something more complex, like for the Doja Cat stuff, there's like skies. Yeah, so in these, like I use like, if you notice, like a more like wide transition. But what's so cool is like the trick of the eye, the fact that it's just 2 colors. It's just this pink and then this blue. But like the combination, like naturally as it changes, your eye just sees an actual gradient. But it really is just 2 colors. So this is like this is the reason, this is obviously, you know, born from necessity in the past. It's like, how do you convey a gradient when you only have like 16 colors in a video game or on a computer? So that's the way that they would do it. They would be able to create these effects with just a limited amount of colors. So, you know, these are one of these cases of limitations being a positive thing. Besides that, though, now I'm going to move on and actually kind of work with you guys to make a character. So what we're going to need that's most important here is the fill tool. It's the little bucket tool. So this is important. If you notice on the right side, there is, and like I said, you can move the stuff around a little bit. There is skin tones. If you notice, there's a palette here. You can actually change the palettes later if you want. If you want to find other colors, obviously you can make whatever color you want, but this one is just set to skin tones. And the way that this works is you're going to select the color. You've already got the bucket tool. And what we're going to do is before we fill in, I have it set here already, but you're going to want to click this little option that says all similar colors. So normally it's not clicked. And all it would do, if that was the case, is just that it would just fill in an individual thing. But what we would like to do is change all the similar colors. So for example, this light purple, I'm going to choose this color. Wait, I was selecting the background. That's the only thing you got to be aware of if you're selecting the background or the actual layer. So I'm gonna fill in this color and make that this color. Then I'm gonna say, okay, well, like maybe it's, well, first maybe it's for me it's a little too light. My brother is not brighter than the sun. So I'm gonna do a slightly darker color. And we're gonna pick a darker color, choose that for the darker color, and then we'll choose another darker color for the last one. So see, now we've got like an actual human color. There's one more here, which is just like the light purple. In your case, you can just make new colors, obviously. You can just select, oh, this is being hidden here, but you can select the colors on the left-hand side. The first one is the primary color. So this one will just, I'll pick it almost white, and I can just fill it in, same way. So there you go. So now we've got that detail. If you want to have other color palettes, you can do that through here. There's muted with skin tones, Resurrect 64, I like the name of that one. More common colors that you would see like on Microsoft Paint. Simple is just an even mix of colors, and default. So, you know, feel free to, it helps to have a little color palette. Like for example, my brother, he might wear more like different colored glasses. So let's say, he likes like more blue colors. I'll do that. I'll do this, and then we'll do that. So perfect. So we're able to create another color like that. Also, real quick, while we're in the mood of doing faces, I figured there's the mother of all video game creation of faces music, just to, you know, get us in the mood. Did anybody ever play the Wii? Did you remember making their character on the thing? So this is the music for that. So So perfect. So I'd love to see kind of how y'all's are going. Let me know if you guys have any questions. So I'll give you guys like another 2 minutes if it's possible. Maybe 3 if I'm nice. But meanwhile, I'll show you guys how to export it, because I would like you guys to share it to the Google Drive so I can show it to everybody. So what we're gonna do is, I mean, like I said, maybe the instructions are a little different for the mobile versions, but we're just gonna export it. So we're gonna go to File, Export Download. And what we're gonna do is select Web. So there's a couple options here. They have like for Twitter, for Instagram. So like I said, it's a good website for that. So the reason that we do this is because if you exported this at the actual size, which is 64 by 64 pixels, like I said, a lot of programs, a lot of websites, by trying to be nice, they like blur stuff. So you try to like zoom in and it ends up getting blurry. But you're like, no, I just want the crisp pixels. Another thing that's important, and this website knows it because it's a pixel art website, is that it exports everything as a .png. Maybe a lot of people who work with graphic design at this point, it's almost like JPEG or PNG every time. Every time. Is it a bigger file? Slightly bigger, yes. But I mean, obviously we're at a point where that's not a big deal. But the reason is A, because it has transparency, but then B, because it retains every single pixel. If you ever tried to export a JPEG, it has the option sometimes to export like a lower quality, and when you're doing that with pixel art, like even losing a couple pixels will like ruin something entirely. So I'll give you an example of this one. This is an example from my friend Jessica. It's a drawing that I did of her. This is a screenshot from Instagram. You notice what's going on with all the pixels? See how awful that is? Anyways, yeah, you can see the issue there, right? That it's just like, it should be crispy and nice, but sometimes uploading stuff to other places kind of messes it up. So with that in mind, it's always good to export stuff to a larger size. Sorry, that was a big aside. It was like 3 asides in one. But yeah, so when we want to export, we're going to do download PNG, and we'll get the file. I wish we could like choose the name of it, but it's just going to be like pixel frame something. If you want to rename it there, for example, this one being my brother, I can call it, I'll rename it size bro. And I'll upload that one. So we're going to go to the Google Drive. There's a folder called upload work here. We're going to upload, and then we're going to just pop it in. And that's all. And so we'll be able to see them. Perfect. So, and I'll share those with you guys. Let me know if you guys have sent it. Oh, I see one in here. I see Chelsea put hers in here. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Oh, nice, nice, nice. I love it. I love it. Perfect. Nice. You channeled your inner Doja Cat. That's what you said. That's so funny. Yeah, right, because she does go like alien mode. In that same Google Drive Pixel Art Workshop folder. So we did face template. The next one we're going to do is Sleepy Cat template. So if you guys have that one downloaded, we're going to open it also through the Pixel Art app. So I'm going to go ahead and do Open Pixel, Sleepy Cat template. Great. So this one is very empty. So you guys are not getting as much help on this one, but I mean you will. This one's a little bit more free form, more expression. But I'll give you guys the example. So this is the Sleepy Cat final. So this is just like what it looks like when it's done. So this is what you guys are gonna make. And if you think you can't, you actually can. It's not hard to make at all. And I'll walk through it with you guys too. We'll do it like Bob Ross style. So I separated a little bit into layers just to kind of show you guys. And so if you notice on the file that I gave you guys, honestly, the file I gave you guys doesn't have a lot. It's just the layers and the color palette that we're using. So the colors that are in the palette is specifically called Sleepy Cat because I made it. It's the colors that we're going to be using here. And they're in order of when we use them. So it'll be easy to follow along. I learned that from the paint and praise that we went to on Monday. I got to learn a little bit about that. So let me see who is, let me check back on here. Yo! Nice, bad. Good job. It's neat. I like it. So good. So this is what we're gonna make, guys. So like I mentioned, next thing we're gonna do is that we're gonna open up our Sleepy Cat template. And we'll be met with this. Like I said, we have the 4 layers on the right. We don't have to deal with a million layers this time. It's great. We just have cat, rock, trees, sky, and land. So we're going to make each of those in order. So first and foremost, what we're going to do to get our image is we're going to color the whole thing. So we're going to grab the fill tool, and then we're going to grab the first color that's there and just fill the whole thing. Simple, easy. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the horizon line with the second color. So let me know if you guys are with me on this part. We're going to grab the pencil tool. Actually, not the pencil tool. Let's grab the line tool because it's easier that way, just to draw a straight line, you know? So that's it. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is going to be grab the next color. It's going to be the slightly lighter blue. And we're going to grab the gradient tool. So it's this one that's over here. So what we're going to do is that we're going to select basically to make like the sky and have it just kind of go up. And I'd say probably do it like halfway up if you'd like to. You notice we're already making progress. In my example previously, I'll try to keep it similar to that one. It was like this. You can also get fancy and make it like the sun coming in from the side or something, but I'm going to try to keep it uniform. I think also if you hold shift, you can kind of keep it uniform. So it only does like 45-degree movement. So it kind of stays locked in. The actual term locked in, not the way that the kids use it these days. Oh, okay, so this is important. You're right, good. Thank you for the help. There's a couple options above. If you notice, I have transparent secondary, so it doesn't, so normally if this wasn't checked, it would gradient between the first color and the second color. So in this case, it would be blue to white. But in this case, I just want the first color. So this one is checked. Also bucket fill. This is the one that's really important. This one just means that it'll stick to, the bucket fill means that it'll stick to just where you're selecting. So the thing is, it's funny that it does it like on, it only does like the area that you're selecting. Next up, here's what we're gonna do next, guys. We're gonna add the sky color. So we're gonna select the next color and do the same thing, just in the other direction. And so now we've got our sky. Okay, perfect. Next up, we're going to start drawing the land. So we're gonna grab that next color. We're gonna grab the pencil tool, and we're just gonna do like a S, like a reverse S, something like that. And so that line will be like the shoreline, pretty much. We're gonna grab the next color. Sure. Oh, sure. I mean, I just used the pencil tool. Yeah. If it might be, I think there is like a pen tool that lets you do stuff like that, where you can kind of like manipulate it. But I think this program doesn't have it, sadly. But a lot of programs do, where you can actually like manipulate like a curve. So it would be easier that way. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna grab the slightly darker version of that color and fill in. You notice I filled in everything. So this is one of those cases where I actually have to turn off this option that says all similar colors. That way it just does it for there. So we kind of did like 2 in 1. We made the shoreline and then also the color that it transitions into. Next up, we're gonna grab the next darker color. And this will be, let's say like halfway through, we'll kind of like, still with the pencil tool, just kind of make sure that we connect entirely from one side to the other. We can kind of be zigzaggy about it. It can be a straight line, doesn't have to be fancy. I'm just doing it to simulate grass, and then we're gonna fill that part in with the bucket tool as well. And we're just gonna do it one more time with the next color, which is the darker one. We'll do it maybe like more halfway up as well. So you notice it filled the whole thing in because there's a gap in there. Now, anybody that's a digital artist knows the headache of trying to figure out why something is filling in everything and not like where you want it to. You have to be like, okay, this is one gap here. That's the gap there. So we're gonna do that, and we've got that. So I'm gonna give you guys a second to make, so next thing we're gonna do is we're going to make the mountain. So we're actually going to go back to a previous color. It's going to be this purple one, the second color that we chose, the one that we used for the horizon line. And I'm going to want you guys to grab the pencil tool and just kind of form some mountains. So we're going to make a few mountains. You can make them as tall or as short as you want. It's not a big deal. You guys can also fill it in with the, if you don't want to fill it in manually, you can just fill it in like that. So you guys know Sonic the Hedgehog? It looks like this is like a chill funk wave version of music from those games. So that's, the internet's got everything these days. Next up, we're going to grab, okay, so if you guys remember, we were doing the darkest color that we did over here. We're gonna pick the next color in the palette, and we're gonna do a lighter color. So, sure. Yeah, we're all doing this on the sky land layer. If you did it on a different layer, it's fine. It's not a big deal. But basically, yeah. So now what I'm gonna do is I grab this slightly lighter color right before this, like the darker red. I'm gonna grab the gradient tool, and we're gonna do the reflection from the water. So let me see if it's. Wait, is it that one? Just want to make sure I got the right color. I think this one was, what's this color? Well, let's ignore that one color for now. We're gonna go back to this, the third color that we used, and we're gonna make the reflection of the horizon. So that'll be like that, right? We just wanna match it more or less the same that we did. Now, we're gonna grab this, we're gonna grab this pink color. If you notice there's one over here. And we're gonna kind of make the tops of the mountains, how like it gets lighter. I'll make a bit of that, a bit of this. After we do that color, there's an even lighter color that we'll use for kind of where the sun's coming from. If you notice, we're gonna have the sun coming from the left-hand side. So if you notice, I liked to have the mountains get lighter there. So we'll do that, make it a little lighter, lighter there. Got everything ready there. Perfect. Yeah, remember, you don't have to copy mine one-to-one in any way. We're just making happy little accidents. What is that? Isn't that what Bob Ross says? So next up, I'm gonna make the sun. So we're gonna grab this color that's like, so it's funny, it's hard to describe a color just by looking at it without me saying, you're just gonna grab E7, B6, BF, B4. It's like, what? Don't worry about that. But we're gonna make the overall shape with just one color. So it's kind of like a cross with like 2 circles inside of it. So if you want, you can use the line tool, because that way you can kind of like feel comfortable with it. in my example, I actually go like over the mountains, because remember, a light that shines through doesn't have to actually stop at the, if there's a light right above something, even what's below it gets some light too. So we're gonna try to make a cross as much as we can, like center it. Let's add a little bit more to the sides. Next, we're gonna grab this tool, the circle tool, and we're gonna make a big circle around the edge. I think for those who are using PC or the computer, you can hold shift and it'll stay completely circular, because otherwise it does kind of this, and you want it to kind of stay like that. But like I said, don't feel pressure. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just do that. Okay, that's pretty good. Awesome. So next up, we're gonna pick the slightly lighter color that comes right after that, and just do more towards the center. So simple. And last, we're gonna grab the lightest color there, and this one's like the sun color. So this is also like the cool part about like learning color theory through pixel art, is considering that, with a limited color palette, when you're painting, you also kind of want to have, you can't like go overboard with colors. It's the saying of like, unless you're drawing a rainbow, you don't need every color in the box, right? Like sometimes restraint is good. We can get kind of excited and use every color at our disposal, but sometimes less is more. And if you notice that we're using a lot of the same colors for the sky, for the land, and it gives things like a more cohesive look. So next up, we've got all these. I'm gonna actually maybe round out this sun a little bit more, give it some little extra volume to it. So feel free to do that as well. Perfect. Right, so we've got our sun. I'm gonna do this one here. Great, so now that we've got that, we're gonna move on to the next part. What should we do next? Next thing that we should do is going to be the mountain reflections. So I'm gonna grab let's see if it's this color. Yeah, this is a good one. So this color here, I'm gonna grab it and use it for the reflections of the mountains. So for the reflections, you can kind of be artistic with it. It doesn't have to be like precise. You can kind of like think about the ripples of the waves, and you can do like a line every other to kind of get that sensation of of the ripples in the water. We're gonna do the same thing with the sun itself, like the light that shines off of it. So I'll grab a little bit of this, a little bit of this color, maybe a little darker as it goes off, Perfect. So see, we've got reflections already. And last thing too, we just have to reflect the sun itself. So sorry, that red sky. So I'm gonna grab the fourth color, get that gradient, and just kind of do that. Me personally, I would probably do it a little higher, but it's no big deal. Awesome. So that'll be our first layer. What we're going to do next, though, we're going to do some clouds. So that'll bring it together. What we're going to do is we're going to grab the dark red, like the darkest red that we have here, and we're just going to like draw in the sky with it. If you notice, I did these kind of almost like plane trails. There are clouds that are kind of like when you're pushing stuff. I like to use these sometimes just in drawing because it shows more perspective than if I did like the fluffy clouds are really nice, and I do use them a lot. But these are good because you can kind of get some sense of perspective. It's like having a grid in the sky almost, because as they kind of like get further away, they get smaller, and you kind of get a sense of scale. So these are really nice for that, to get like a sense of scale in the sky. So also, if you get kind of impatient of drawing with like a single pixel, remember that with the pencil you can increase the size. So I increased it to 2, so it's just a little bit more easy to use. And it's okay if it's like not perfect. So one of the things that I'm going to do, like I mentioned, I'm going to make it thicker near the top because it's getting closer to the screen. The idea is like it's going off into the horizon. So got that there. Yeah, so you see it gives it like a little sense of scale. It's perfect. Next, we're gonna grab the slightly lighter color, if I'm not mistaken. It's the next one, right? The next color, we're gonna grab it and we're gonna do basically like the reflection of the sun, basically. So we're just gonna like paint along the edge. Oops, I'm drawing with the opposite color. We're gonna paint along the edge. So I got this. Perfect. Perfect. And I'm going to do it also with a slightly lighter color as well. So, so I'm grabbing the next color, and that's like the slightly lighter one, and just kind of like in little spots here and there. Generally with art and with color, it's like a good rule of 3 to have, right? So like, if you need more than 3 colors to show a transition, it might look too much. So I'll give you an example. There's a concept in pixel art called, you guys are looking at this as a guide, but there's a concept in pixel art, or a negative comment called pillow shading. So a pillow is like very soft and round and velvety, and it's like a perfect gradient. But you kind of don't want that for pixel art. You want it to be able to see the differences in colors. It's the same way with paint, right? If you draw a person and it's way too, like the transition is way too smooth, they look like waxy. Like you kind of want to see like the contours of the face, of the shape. It's the same way. You want to not use too many colors. So moving on. Next, we're gonna move on to the second layer. So with that, we actually have our first layer ready. Although I would recommend maybe before continuing on let's just add a little bit more grass in there. You can even use a lighter color if you want, just to give it some texture, make it look. It doesn't have to be fancy, just kind of having fun with it. Here, there you go. See, this is the thing that you learn. It's like once you do like gradients, you realize that you can do gradients with anything. Essentially, you can, whatever shape that you want that repeats but it gets smaller, it just creates perspective. So I'm kind of just like doing these straight little lines all over to create the sense of like depth. And I'm doing it in the opposite way too, down below, so that it kind of like, they all bleed into each other. So like if you squint, it's kind of more of a gradient. I'm gonna do that as well here a little bit. None of this is gonna be seen, so it's more just for yourself, just so you know that it's like done. Okay, perfect. So we've got our sky, we've got everything on this layer ready. So the next thing I'm gonna do is we're actually gonna move on to the second layer. Notice the one that says trees. I wanna select that one. Now this is just another annoying thing about the program, but I'm just trying to save you a headache. When you backspace something, it also weirdly enough backspaces to the previous layer. So sometimes I'll do a first line and then I'll say, oh, I don't like that line. And notice how I'm back on the sky layer, and I'll be drawing and all this stuff, and I realize that it's all on the same layer. So just be mindful of what layer that you're on. The first thing we're gonna do then is gonna be the tree line. So we're gonna grab the next colors. We're gonna grab, let me just double check here. Yeah. We're gonna grab this like darker purple. It's like one of the last colors. And we're just gonna, see, I'm on the sky, I'm on the different layer. I gotta make sure I'm on the tree layer. Honestly, it's not a big deal to be honest, but it's just if you wanna like separate the layers and change it up later. Like I said, none of this is a problem on Sprite. It's just because this is a free program. So we're just gonna try to make straight lines. If you don't feel comfortable making straight lines, you can just use the this guy, you can just use the line tool. And we're just gonna kind of create the what's it called? Not the root, the trunk. Exactly, the trunks of the trees. Thank you so much. So we're just making the trunks right now, just to get an idea for scale. Now we're gonna kind of shade a couple of them. So I'm gonna get the next color, the darkest one, and I'm just gonna go over these on top of it. Let's do a couple more here. Perfect. And so of course, you know, like the darker color goes to the right because the light source is coming from the left. So just to create a little bit of like variety there. That's kind of it. So with that in mind, now we're gonna kind of do the old Bob Ross of like adding the details on the trees. So now I'm gonna grab the pencil tool, and I'll give you an example away from the trees just so you can see it clearly, but we're kind of gonna do a little bit of this, you know, like a Christmas tree. You know, you kind of do like it starts little at the top and then it gets bigger and bigger at the bottom. The waves get bigger. It's like a sine wave. Sorry, not a sine wave. I didn't do well in was it calculus? Which one uses sine waves? But anyways, no, this is more of like a zigzag. So we're just gonna do that here. Don't worry if it looks like kind of like nothing at the moment. We're just trying to get the general shapes down. Got this down, got this down. You know, you can get really into it and make like a lot of layers, but it's all right. So we're just making the general shape of the trees. We're gonna cover up everything above, like the tree line. So the only thing that we can kind of see is like the roots, sorry, the trunks. We've got that, we've got that. I'm gonna do it for this one too. Sweet. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, so next up, we're going to do the highlights on the trees. So we're going to grab that like lighter color and do just like little diagonals there. Little diagonals. Just kind of get that effect. Perfect. We're going to grab this darker purple and kind of like be the word like transition them a bit. So like when doing pixel art, like the zoom in is like your best friend. Sometimes you are going to spend like, and I guess that's like the meditative aspect of it too. You're going to be like really in there. You know, there's a saying, I think it's called keeping your nose to the grindstone, which just means like when you're so like close to your work that you look away and like you're like this close to it. Maybe that's why I have glasses, to be honest, because I've been doing pixel art all my life. But it's essentially that, right? You're just trying to get really close to the piece and kind of like match the horizon. For example, so I think I'm content with it here, so I'm gonna keep it like that. If you guys want, you can also like add more trees in the distance. If you're like, oh, I want it to have more height as well, do that. Yeah, me personally, I would like this to go off a little bit more. So there you go. So we've got our tree line. Next up, we're gonna move on to the next layer. So it's gonna be the rock. So we're more than halfway done with this one. We're almost finishing up. Now it's the last two steps. It's actually very little left. We're gonna make this little rock that's gonna be resting underneath the cat. So this one is pretty straightforward. We're gonna grab the darkest color that we have, and we're just gonna draw this big, almost like a trapezoid. It can be a little rounded on the bottom. So already there. We've got the trapezoid. Next up, I'm gonna grab the lighter, let's see, what's a good color? I'm trying to make sure I got the right one. I'm gonna grab the second color. And like I said, you guys don't have to match the exact colors that I'm using here. I'm just gonna fill that in. And then we're gonna grab this, the color that's next to the white color. It's like a lavender. We'll do that one for the top of the rock. Now, I would suggest, because the cat, you want the cat to like sit snugly on it, you want to make that rock a little big. So even in my case, I'll probably make the rock a little bigger. I'll do like this much, maybe have it a little bit further out on both sides. Perfect. Great, we're doing great on time. Next up, we're gonna keep using that light purple color, like the transition color, to kind of like add more details like in the dark of the rock, right? So you can kind of like just do like little dots here and there, but you can also do like, little mini circles, just ways to show some texture on it. And then the same thing I did with the grass, I like to do with the rocks for texture, where now I'll do the opposite. I'll grab I'll like eat into the light color now. So notice I'm going to do the same thing, add a couple more details here and there. There is actually a tool too sometimes that lets you like scatter things. So like I think this tool lets you dither, so you can kind of work with texture, but it's not necessary. Anyway, so we've got our rock. It's pretty simple. Next thing I'm going to do with the rock is going to create a shadow. So if you notice in the example, the light source is here, the sun is here, so it makes sense that it would be darker on the back side of the rock. So we're going to grab the same colors that we used near the mountains, like near the tree line, and we're going to use those to kind of draw grass growing on top of the rock. So I'll do that now. I'll grab the darkest colors here, and we'll just start doing that. Start drawing a little bit here. Right. Sweet. Doing good. Making progress. How y'all doing? It'll be interesting to see everybody's. Somebody actually told me, it's like, yeah, but Isa, you're teaching people to do your work. You're working yourself out of a job, and it's like no, it's good to share, what you learn and get other people, like interested in it. Like these are just like good tools to work towards. I think I'm a firm believer of it's better to give than to receive. So this course is donation based, so if you guys feel like giving, anything that we give is just going to go to the church that let me share the space and keep the lights on. So it's, like using the electricity and the AC and the water and the sound system. I mean, we could turn the bass, we could go crazy here. The sound system here is crazy. You can get some good stuff going. So if anybody wants to have a DJ set in here, let me know. Look, I'm going off script. I'm just using some of these other colors to create a little bit more like texture as well. But anyway, so we've got our rock nice and handy. And I want to move on to the final layer, the cat. So little sleepy kitty here. What we're going to do first is we're just going to draw a big blob for the cat, like the general shape. So I'm going to use the white color, the lightest color. I'm going to go up to the cat layer. And I'm going to draw this blob. More or less the shape that you want to go for is like a long bean, that's what cats are, to be honest. So I'm going to do something like this. It doesn't need to be perfect, but because we'll be able to give it more detail. So we're going to grab the fill tool, fill that whole thing in, kind of get a little bit more detail here. In my example, the cat, he has like a little paw sticking out of the front. So I'm gonna add a little detail there. Just checking, one of the ears sticks out just a little bit, but it's not a big deal. So now we're gonna actually define it better with lines. So we're gonna draw with the second to last color, and we're just gonna like basically make a little outline of the cat and start drawing, like for example, the tail. I'm going to draw the little tail here. It's okay if you go out of the lines too, you just keep adding more detail. Got this. Okay. Here's the little, let's see, little kitty's paw. Maybe I want it a little bit more above, so we'll do that. Great. So now I'm going to do the cat's head. I feel like maybe this cat, the ears are too separated here, so I'm going to put them a little closer together. Perfect. And I'm going to make little eyes, little nose, round out the face a little bit. Grab that white again. Ears a little bit more like that. Perfect. I'm going to erase here. Okay, so we've got the general shape of the cat. Well, I like my old cat way better. Okay, but now I'm gonna do his little leg. It's kind of like resting on this side. Also, no, I forgot to mention, but at this step, honestly, you can change it with a different animal if you want. You could do a dog on it if you're more of a dog person. You could do I'm a tortoise person. I have a pet tortoise. So I could have drawn the tortoise on there, but no, I have a cat too. Actually, this is modeled kind of after our neighborhood cat. But so the key colors that we're using, if you notice. There's a really important principle too in pixel art, but in every kind of art, which is just hue shifting, right? So when you go from a lightest color to a darkest color, like a grayscale, it looks kind of ugly. I'll give you a good example. In fact, I'll do it directly through here. So I'll show you, for example, I'll grab this red, and then I'll do, let's see if it's a good red color. So we've got this red here. Sorry, I'm gonna mess up the painting for like a second, but we've got this, and I'm gonna go down a little bit more like this, and then go down a little bit more, which just gets darker, you know, and then darker. And that looks fine, right? That looks okay, like going from that light red to that dark red, but there's something that looks better, and I'll show you. What you're gonna wanna do is, for example, I'm just giving you an example, but you get this light red, and then you shift the hue a little bit, so it's going to go from like red to like a little bit more purple. So as we get darker, we're also changing the color itself. So I'm going to do like this one, and then I'm going to shift more to blue. Now you notice how the gradient on the right looks way more dynamic than the gradient on the left. So when you change your colors, I would recommend always try to change it also to shift the hue a little bit in another direction. So you know, this is just useful for like art, for painting as well. So it's cool because I learned a lot more doing digital art, and then when I went into more like traditional fine arts, I had some of this like stuff in the background already. So that was just the example there. Let me give you guys the cat reference again, if you guys want to maybe copy them directly. I think at this point I'll do that, because I feel like I'm not going to do the best job copying the cat from scratch, and I feel like you guys prefer like a nice reference on the screen for the rest of the time. But you guys are pretty much there. You're at the finish line, and you're doing a great job. So I'm going to actually walk around and see how y'all are doing. You know, I'm going to rate you guys on a scale of 1 to 10, and if it's anything less than an 8, you got to leave. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'll just finish mine as well, and then I'll check in with you guys. Remember, when you guys are done, you can also upload it in here. It'd be nice to see. I mean, we're all going to look similar for sure, but it'd be nice to see them. I think for the sake of time, I'm not going to be able to do the third one. But I will show you guys, I'll leave it as like a like a collaborative homework, let's just say. Like whenever you guys have free time, like, are you guys enjoying making pixel art? Like, is this like a fun experience? Great, great. So, yeah, I mean, like, I'll explain to you guys. Oh, well, I'll let you guys keep working, of course, but I'll show you guys what the last part was going to be. And honestly, it was going to be more of this, where I kind of let you guys get creative. In fact, this is better because it gives you guys time and space to think of something. So, the last part that we were going to do today was going to be kind of working on this hexagon to kind of make our own little room. So the template is, well, I don't want to open it now because it's going to close this one. But basically, it's just that. It's just like a blank room, and you guys are able to customize it and make whatever you want. Here, I repped Wana Create, so I put the logo there. I put a little pixel guy standing there, a little pixel girl jumping, a little pixel bird, some pixel flowers. Like I said, it's cool what you can do with just such a small amount of space, you know? So the idea is that actually we have, I'll show you guys an example. Yes, you guys see this example? This is pretty cool. So when I was a kid, this is one of the funnest parts about learning pixel art in a community of people, is that we would do these little challenges and these little like kind of collaborations where everybody would do a piece and then bring it together. So we'd do stuff like this, for example, where everybody would get a hexagon. It would be a different room, and we would put the rooms together afterwards. And some of them, they get real fancy. They like connect with each other, or they're like kind of like, yeah, like merging into each other, and you have to kind of match, like you get what the previous person finished, and then you add to that. So everybody's actually like adding to the same piece. So it's really, really cool. Or sometimes you would get in between two pieces, and you would have to think of like, how do I combine these two, but also do my own thing? Like, how do you transition into them? So this will be, I guess, the homework, but there's no deadline. But let's just say like next week I'll try to put together, if you guys decide to make one, a couple of the pixel rooms. Like I said, also, if you want to tell a friend or somebody as well to contribute to it, I'll post it, I'll share it with everybody, and I'll tag you guys in it as well. And it'll just be a good way to show people that anybody can make pixel art. So I'm gonna go back to the kitty real quick for references, and then I'll leave it at that. So I'll leave the reference on the screen for you guys, but meanwhile, I don't mind showing a little bit more of the kind of work that I've done through pixel art. Sometimes stuff that's like more simple, It's just fun to do sometimes, like locations and like buildings, simple little things where things are tiny too. It's like a fun challenge. Let's see, what's the escape button. And see, like in this case, like there's only 3 or 4 colors, but you get the sensation of like a full gradient between each one. This one, you notice that you can kind of combine pixel art with like more, more common like digital art. A little bit use of gradients and like glows, but also still using like pixel art. So for example, in this case, the characters, they have like a layer, that like an overlay layer that makes it like brighter for them, like only around the edges. Stuff like that. You can do fun things like that. I got to work with the company Unity to make these little cartridges. It's funny, these were drinking flasks. So they have, you're meant to hide alcohol in there. Yeah, that's what it looks like when it's like done. This is also fun because I had a client that wanted to do a bunch of different, like the same character, but at different sizes. So this is just like a good representation of like how much detail you can get. Because I think the idea is that the game that he was working on, the characters would get more or less detailed based on like what era of gaming they were in, right? So they would be like in an 8-bit era, and then they would only have like 3 colors to them. And then it would be like Super Nintendo, and it would be like 8 colors, and then you would keep increasing. So you notice how I was able to turn the same character into like different eras of gaming. So yeah, just had the chance to do more animations for different games. Did a couple portraits. Portraits are really fun to do, and these are like where the whole like drawing with symmetry is also really helpful too, because you can kind of get some of those like, yeah, both left and right. So just doing fun stuff like that. And you don't have to be bound to like one art style. You can kind of go more colorful, less colorful. Do dogs, you don't have to stick to humans. It's just they're cute. This is a commission I did for a friend. Yeah, and just some of the other events and stuff that I did. So it's just you can do a lot with pixel art. So I kind of want to close off on that. I'll give you guys, I guess, a chance if you want to. Ooh, yeah, I was gonna see real quick what you uploaded. Nice, man. So pretty good. I like it. Ooh, Jasmine got a cat in there too. Nice. Look at that. Beth, that is a sleepy kitty. That's a lot of Z's. That is a lot of Z's on that kitty. That's so fun. Oh, sorry, I got you mid. Oh, so good. I love it though. Yeah, I almost get this one definitely has more like spooky vibes. Like I don't want to get lost here, I mean the cat seems to be chill, Yeah, the cat will guide your path through the darkness.
It's like those deceptive, it's like a cave with like the scary monster, but it's actually just like sleepy cat.
Exactly. I love that. And yeah, it's just, you guys did such a good job. I love this. Oh, that's good. Good job, everybody. So, I think we have maybe one more coming in, but no worries, we're good. So, I guess I just wanted to close off on some of that stuff. Just the fact that pixel art is just real, like, very versatile. So, stuff for games, just stuff for for yourself. It's still popular for commercial work. Like people still like to do stuff like that. So definitely recommend it. If you need more help anytime down the line, guys, like feel free to message me. If you guys have my contact, it's on the link tree. There's my information as well. So if you guys have any questions or you guys want to learn more about pixel art, or if you're like, hey, like I don't know how to do this, or if you have any advice on how to do this, like feel free to message me anytime. I'd love to see, like I said, like in that Google Drive is also the other template, like the little hexagon one. So I'd love to see if you guys make something within the next week. I'll try to put everybody's together. So I'll even get more people possible who didn't attend but they wanted to attend. I'll say, hey, would you like to contribute to make those? So yeah, with that being said, I just want to say thank you everybody for coming by. Thank you for making a little cat with me. Thank you for making your pixel avatar. And with that, I just want to wish you all a wonderful day. Thank you for stopping by. And yeah, let's keep being creative together. Take care, guys. Bye.